Right now, your brain is actively shedding its capacity to think. It is happening in total silence, right behind your eyes, every single time your thumb moves across a glass screen. Over the last few months, a deeply unsettling phrase migrated out of internet meme culture and directly into the diagnostic offices of top neuroscientists across the United States. The word is brainrot. But what sounded like a joke is now a verifiable medical crisis. Recent neurological data from major U.S. research universities reveals a terrifying baseline. The average attention span of an American adult has officially plummeted to just 4.7 seconds. A goldfish can focus for 9. That is the brutal cost of a machine designed to rewire you. Every time you swipe through endless vertical videos, your brain experiences a miniature explosion of neurochemicals. But this constant state of hyperstimulation comes with a devastating biological tax. It is burning out your prefrontal cortex, the exact seat of your willpower, logic, and long-term success. Then something unexpected happened. Scientists realized that this isn't just making people distracted, it is trapping them in a permanent state of physical fatigue that sleep cannot fix. Over the next 10 minutes, we are going to look at the exact biochemistry of why your phone is reducing your brain power, how it keeps you exhausted, and the definitive protocol to reverse the damage. If you feel like your focus is completely broken, you cannot afford to look away from this. To understand how your brain is being hijacked, we must first destroy a massive myth. Most people believe dopamine is the chemical of pleasure. It isn't. Dopamine is the molecule of anticipation. It is the evolutionary chemical that forced your ancestors to hunt for food, and forces modern investors to check the stock market. It is the driving force behind a single question: what comes next? But here's the twist. Silicon Valley engineers did not build these video platforms to entertain you. They built them using the exact psychological framework of a Las Vegas slot machine, operating on what psychologists call a variable reward schedule. When you swipe up, your brain has no idea what is waiting on the other side. It could be a boring advertisement, a hilarious joke, or a shocking tragedy. Because the reward is completely unpredictable, your brain releases a massive, unnatural spike of dopamine right before the next video even loads. You aren't addicted to the video, you are addicted to the scroll. According to data tracking digital consumption in the United States, the average user pulls this digital slot machine lever over 300 times every single day. By forcing your brain to process a completely new emotional narrative every 15 seconds. Moving instantly from a tragic news clip to a dance trend, to a cooking hack, you are forcing your neural architecture to run a world-class marathon at a full sprint. Your brain simply never evolved to handle this density of information. What happens when you run a complex machine at maximum capacity for hours without a single break? It overheats. It breaks down. In human biology, this manifestation is known as dopamine burnout. When your brain is flooded with constant, unnatural neural stimulation, your dopamine receptors don't just get tired, they actively protect themselves by shrinking and downregulating. Think of your dopamine receptors like your ears. If you sit in a perfectly quiet room, you can hear a soft whisper from across the house. But if you stand next to a roaring jet engine for 3 hours, your ears become temporarily deafened to protect your eardrums from shattering. That's where everything changed. When you scroll through hyperstimulating content, you are blasting your brain with a psychological jet engine. Your receptors fold inward to deafen themselves to the noise. This is why, when you finally lock your phone and set it face down, the real world suddenly feels completely unbearable. Reading a book feels like physical torture. Working on your business feels impossible. Even having a normal conversation with a real human being feels painfully slow and uninteresting. The real world hasn't become boring. Your brain has just been deafened to reality. You are living in a permanent state of cognitive grayness, needing higher and higher doses of screen time just to feel a basic baseline of human motivation. But the real story hasn't even started. This isn't just about feeling lazy or unmotivated. The latest clinical imaging data shows that this sensory overload is causing physical, structural changes inside your skull. When the prefrontal cortex is constantly bypassed by instant gratification loops, the gray matter volume in this region literally begins to degrade. You are effectively giving yourself a functional, temporary lobotomy. Your willpower vanishes, your emotions break down, and your ability to engage in deep, meaningful focus completely disintegrates. You become a passive passenger inside your own life, controlled entirely by the next notification pull. But here is the payoff. Your brain possesses an extraordinary superpower called neuroplasticity. Just as your neural pathways can be degraded by bad habits, they can be entirely rebuilt through conscious intention. You do not need to delete your accounts or move to a cabin in the woods to fix your focus. You simply need to introduce strategic friction back into your life. First, implement the 30-minute screen buffer. When you wake up, your brain is in a hypersuggestible state. If you check your phone within the first 30 minutes of waking, you lock your brain into a state of distraction for the rest of the day. Leave the phone in another room overnight. Second, practice the rule of monotasking. When you eat, just eat. When you walk, just walk. By eliminating the secondary stimulation of background videos, you force your dopamine receptors to heal and adapt back to the natural speed of reality. The digital economy is built to turn your attention into currency, leaving you burned out and exhausted. But you have the power to close the loop. If you want to protect your mind from modern distraction and reclaim your cognitive freedom, subscribe to this channel right now. Let's take back control, together. Turn off the noise, put down the phone, and step back into reality. The digital world wants your attention. Your future needs your focus.